Advanced hypersonic missile systems.
Why haven't they succeeded? When a missile trailing a fiery streak pierces the sky
At 10 times, even 20 times the speed of sound, leaping at the edge of the atmosphere. During its gliding phase,
any air defense system would be rendered useless before it. Such a scene has become a reality in China with the Dongfeng series,
following the real-world capabilities of the DF-21 series, while in Western countries, they are repeatedly stuck in laboratories, unable to make progress. The Pentagon has canceled a second hypersonic weapon program within 3 years. Billions of dollars have been wasted. It's not that they are not trying hard enough,
but the entire West lacks the necessary supersonic wind tunnel.
In 2025, the U.S. Navy sheepishly announced
Carrier Killer.
The Pentagon's hypersonic missile program has been scrapped. This is the second hypersonic program canceled by the U.S. military in 3 years, investing a fortune. The outcome is
the missile couldn't even get out of the lab, a Russian expert pointed out bluntly.
The U.S. lacks the technology to acquire titanium alloys, and they can't solve the controllability issues. Hypersonic weapons generate extreme heat.
The equipment can't withstand it. What's even more painful is
the U.S. military's budget for basic research is almost depleted. The existing wind tunnels can only simulate 6 times the speed of sound. Even large-scale flight environments like the Mach 5
cannot be simulated.
To conduct tests, they can only launch real missiles into the sky,
burning money or making temporary modifications.
Due to the use of drones as trackers, think about it. You want to build a car that can remain stable in a hurricane. Would you drive the car directly into a typhoon to test it, or use a giant fan in a laboratory to simulate the storm?
The latter is the core logic of wind tunnels.
All flying objects must first pass the wind tunnel test.
The industry often says that a generation of wind tunnels produces a generation of aircraft.
Aircraft development must go through thousands of wind tunnel tests. Adjust the shape, verify materials, calculate the trajectory.
Without this step, so-called supercomputer simulations are just armchair theorizing. No matter how powerful the computer is, it can't accurately calculate the chaotic state of air molecule ionization and dissociation at extreme temperatures.
China's 2 national treasures have covered the entire flight corridor. The JF-21 Hypersonic Wind Tunnel, a 2-meter-long behemoth. The Jiuma-He Supersonic Wind Tunnel, the world's first ground-based supersonic wind tunnel. The JF-22 Hypersonic Wind Tunnel was commissioned in 2023, simulating 90 kilometers altitude and 30 times the speed of sound, flight temperature reaching 10,000 degrees Celsius. When Chinese engineers put the missile model into the wind tunnel and give it a blast, European and American counterparts can only stare in disbelief. France once tried to rent China's 10 times the speed of sound wind tunnel. China quoted a price of 200 million euros. A French company found it too expensive and the deal fell through. The European Space Agency wanted to use China's 20 times the speed of sound wind tunnel. China quoted a price of 500 million euros. Ultimately, the deal stalled over data sharing conditions. Even the United States secretly tried to test through Japan, but was deterred by a sky-high price of $5 billion. It's not that China is demanding exorbitant prices, but the business is simply too good to handle. Setting high prices is just a way to politely decline.
The US hasn't given up trying.
As early as the 1950s,
they took the lead in the Western world.
Hypersonic technology research. The X-51A Wave Rider project once set a record of 6 times the speed of sound, but this path presents insurmountable technical challenges. The scramjet engine needs to operate stably at 3,000 degrees Celsius.
High temperatures, and the combustion chamber material defects,
plasma shield communication jamming, and other problems need to be solved.
China and Russia took a more pragmatic approach.
Russia modified the Iskander ballistic missile to achieve 10 times the speed of sound gliding. China's Dongfeng series uses a hypersonic glide vehicle design
to skip the ballistic trajectory and achieve hypersonic flight.
This design is mature and cost-effective,
while the US, stuck in its pursuit of a high-end solution,
has fallen behind by at least 5 years.
To make matters worse, there's internal rivalry within the US military.
The Navy wants the KLO,
the Air Force wants the HSM. The 2 technologies are similar, but each faction insists on its own. Ultimately, both projects have failed.
Today, China leads the world in wind tunnel technology, but its starting point was a desperate counterattack from the brink of poverty. In 956, Chen Shueisen established the Institute of Mechanics of the Chinese Academy of Sciences. He called his former student Guo Yonghai back from the US. There are many important things that need you to do. Guo Yonghai immediately burned all his unpublished papers and boarded the ship back to China with his wife and children. He entrusted his graduate student Yu Hongru with the development of the magneto-hydrodynamic MHD wind tunnel. Yu Hongru only had two requirements: save money and be frugal. At that time, the international mainstream used mechanical compression to build wind tunnels. A set of nozzles cost millions. Yu Hongru chose a more unconventional approach. He used explosives in the lab to create a shock wave. Later, they had many accidents. The most serious one destroyed the lab building. Yu Hongru, now in his 90s, recalls this period with a nonchalant air. It blew up, just rebuild it. Saving money was truly saving money. At the time, New China had a lot of surplus explosives, but it was also very dangerous. It all relied on the researchers risking their lives. From the ruins of the bombed lab, the groundbreaking theory of shockwave-driven wind tunnels emerged. In 958, the first generation of MHD wind tunnel was successfully developed, achieving a breakthrough from 0 to 1. In 1964, the JF